welcome back to Up the Villa podcast, and the football phoning is back. So I'm guessing we've got a lot of happy Aston Villa fans. So we'll kick it off with Ivan. Not spoke to Ivan, well, since we were good. So how are you?
Buzzing, as you would say, Luke. Buzzing.
Yeah, well, it's the word, isn't it?
It is. It's catching on, mate. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. What a time to be a Villa fan. What a time to be a Villa fan.
Yeah.
It just feels something is so different at the moment, and you know that Saturday was a great example of that. I was explaining to my son, I've seen Villa play pretty terribly lots of times, and I tell you what, we don't tend to win 2-0 when we play terribly. So.
Yeah.
And
how old's your son? Because he's not that old, is he? So
he's 11, mate.
So he's 11. So his memories of Villa have been pretty grim.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first time I took him, it was the first season in the Championship.
Oh God!
He enjoyed, he enjoyed the Championship to a point, and the playoff finals and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, he can't believe it. Like all his mates are Liverpool fans, and like messaging it, he's messaging them all saying, you're eighth.
Yeah.
Long may it last.
Yeah, definitely. So what did you make of it? You touched on that it was difficult, but as we do now, we still won, didn't we? So what did you make of the overall game?
I think Forest obviously set up, very deep, didn't they? And they were going to try and break the number of sides they had. It was interesting. I think they were always going to try and do that. So I think from Villa's point of view, it was about having to be patient, and we have a manager who certainly drills his teams to be very patient. And I think I probably was a bit frustrated in the first half, but not ever concerned. I mean, there were times that the ball was going out of play a little bit, but there is a calmness to the way they play now, where they don't tend to sort of lose their heads a little bit. And I think Douglas Luiz then in the second half, I thought, had a lot more control of the game. I think he's been probably Villa's best player over the past few weeks. So I think he conducted that midfield in the second half really well. And I think that once that goal was there, I don't think we really looked in any danger. And then Ollie obviously on icing on the cake at the end. And I think that these are the games that it's hard, isn't it? Nottingham Forest are fighting for their lives. There's no doubt about that. So, Villa are going to have to be patient against side like that. It's probably going to be different next week.
And I know, I think it was one of the very first football phonings we did, and Watkins was probably not in great form. And I always remember you coming on saying, like, you really back him and everything, and you were giving it the big one about Watkins. But, I mean, look at him now. I mean,
yeah. I mean, where are all the doubters now, Luke? I mean, people were properly sort of going after him a little bit, weren't they? And I mean, I heard something really interesting actually on Tony Cascarino talking, one of our former strikers, and he was talking about the fact that the difference with Gerrard and Ollie was that Gerrard just decided that he wasn't good enough. And he was like, well, we're going to have to find someone better. Whereas actually Emery
do that a lot though, didn't he, Gerrard?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But Emery has actually looked at him and thought, you know what? There's a player here. And actually, if me and my staff work with him, this is what can happen. And just look at it. I mean, it's phenomenal, isn't it?
Well, I mean, when I was on Sky the other day and they were asking me, like, what's been the difference? And, the first thing you think of is, well, they're all the same players. Like, there's only Moreno. I know we've got Duran, but he's not really featuring. So there's only Moreno that is an Unai Emery signing. So this just shows what coaching at a high level can actually do, because it's not absolutely for this individual brilliance that's getting Villa over the line. It's, that performance against Nottingham Forest, whether you think it's just Forest and whatever, we still had to be patient. We had to be tactically right, because any team can score against anyone in the Premier League. They could have easily got a breakaway and nicked a goal. So the fact that we're dominating these games is really good, to be fair. But I know you're a big fan and you travel to the under-23. So, I mean, I'm going to be there on Friday, and that's a big game before we get into the Newcastle game. I think we've got to win that to make the playoffs, or
yeah, I think so. I mean, it's all a bit tight, but yeah, I mean, essentially, if they beat Derby, I don't think they're doing particularly well themselves. I think if they beat Derby, they're pretty much going to be in the playoffs, which I think is important as well because potentially puts them up to that sort of next level of that Premier League too, which I guess playing better teams, playing better. But yeah, I mean, I think it's I mean, it's a great as you know, we see each other there. I mean, it's a great Friday night down at Bodymore. And encourage people to go down and see some of the, it's just some strong players there.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for coming on, Ivan.
Nice one, up the Villa.
Cheers, mate. Up the Villa. Mitch, I think you've only ever been on this channel when we've been good as well. So
I know. I must be a lucky charm at the minute.
To be
I'm
fair,
a bit speechless at the minute.
Yeah, I've had this shirt up for a number of weeks now, and I can't move it. I can't take it down because I just feel like now, like I keep going up to the whole 10, I'll go up the same set of steps. I'm trying to stick to the same thing. So yeah, I don't want to disrupt anything now. So
I think it's mad how superstitious you can be, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm wearing the same socks and all sorts at the minute. It's like, well, we're winning, so I'll stick the same things on. They have been washed, admittedly, but
cool. So what did you make of Saturday and Villa under Emery in general at the minute?
I think if you ask about Emery, I don't think there's any Villa fan that doesn't worship him at the minute. I think everything he's doing at the minute, it's just magic. It's as though whatever he puts his finger on, whatever he touches, it's just perfect for us. Even silly things at the minute as well. I think almost VAR's even going in our favour, which I never thought I'd hear us say. But we've had about 2-3 VAR decisions, and VAR decisions at Chelsea and whatnot. Was it Chelsea, Leicester? I can't remember which one it was now, but it was the correct decision. But even VAR, you think the rest gives that, and it's been overturned. It's just bonkers at the minute. It seems as though everything's going in our favour. I think the first half, the weekend, it's a weird one for me because I think that first half under Gerrard, you probably would have had a bit of disgruntled fans and you probably would have been saying, he sent too good. But you almost get that impression that at half-time, Emery goes into the dressing room and you think, we'll be all right second half. No problems here. We'll come out and, 1-0. I never like 1-0. I always feel, it only needs a deflection. It only needs a little mistake. And at times, back in the past, that was the Villa of old. There'd be one mistake and it's 1-1. And next thing it's 2-1. And you think, where's that come from? Yeah. But it's almost like nothing phases us right now. You're 1-0 up and you think, I'm happy with 1-0. We'll be able to hold this out. And then next thing you know, the icing's on the cake, wrapped up, 2-0. Ollie, job done. And you look at it now and other fans must be looking, thinking, that's a comfortable win, 2-0. Newcastle, I was reading a few things on the Newcastle forums the other week, I don't know, and they were saying that they're starting to fear us now. They're saying, we'll take a draw at Villa Park. Now, any team under Gerrard, when they come, would be going, there's 3 points there against the Villa. Now, teams, they go on about, you've got TalkSport and that going on about Newcastle of this, Newcastle of that. And yet Newcastle fans are coming thinking, we'll just take a draw at Villa. And I think that shows just how far we've come under Emery. And it can't go unnoticed. It's brilliant. You're lost for words at times. You just think, I keep checking the table thinking, we are 6th, aren't we? I'm not in dreamland here. But yeah, it's brilliant. The football we're playing is controlled. And Ollie's all of a sudden, I'll be honest, I've never been Ollie's biggest fan. I've never really seen him as a goal scorer as such. But I'll take my hat off to him and I hold my hands up. The last few weeks, his finishing's been brilliant. That goal on Saturday, he took it with ease. He just dinked it over the keeper as though, I'm not listening, job done. And I think that comes with confidence in him scoring goals. And I guess the coaching staff and Emery as well, what they've instilled into him.
Yeah, cool then, mate. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Brill. Cheers, Luke, up the Villa.
Up the Villa, mate. Sam, did I see you at half-time or full-time? I can't remember.
Didn't think we was going to mention that.
Half-time. Yeah, so we were walking down the steps at half-time and Yeah, so great to see you again in the whole 10. So, I mean, K6 it's rocking at the minute. K6, isn't it?
You can't beat it, can you? I mean, you're probably the same as me. The best we've seen is Martin O'Neill days, but even under him, we were better away than we was at home. And at the minute, you just can't see anybody beating us. No matter who we play, he'll put a plan in place, and more often than not, we're going to get 3 points. And when Villa are good, it makes life good.
Yeah. Well, it kind of makes doing all these podcasts good as well, because it's just happy environment. You know, I mean, you know, you do get like negative fans in the comment sections, but even now they've like stopped commenting now. So I'm happy about that as well. So let's we've had the thoughts of like Saturday then. So how are you feeling Monday going into Saturday? How are you feeling about that?
I think they need the week just to have a bit of a reset and have a few days off, because 3 games in a week takes you out of anybody. I mean, 9 points in a week. When's the last time we done that? This time last year, we didn't get 9 points in a month. But yeah, I just like have a reset now, start the week, and he's got a full week to put a game plan into him. And like I said, I think we'll beat anybody.
Yeah, I think
that atmosphere behind us, why not?
Yeah, I think that point you've made about the week having sort of like get everybody in that ice bath. So hopefully they're sat in it for about a couple of hours today. And then everybody's like geared up, ready to go, because dare I say, I mean, we've had a couple of I thought Saturday was a big game because, you know, you've got to keep momentum, but this feels like it's probably one of the biggest games we've had in a very, very long time, because if we can get away from this with a result, I think it sets us up so well going into like the Brentford game as well. And, you know, it's 2 teams, 2 of probably the most informed sides in the league. I know Man City are on an 8-game winning run, so, you know, they're banging form, but 2 sides that are really in form. And I think, you know, it's going to be a totally different game for Villa, because we've come up against 2 sides recently that are scrapping, fighting for their lives down the bottom. And now we're going to have a team that rock up at Villa Park that want to play football as well. So, you know, how are you feeling about it? Confident?
Yeah, like you say, it's going to be a completely different game. I mean, from my point of view, Forest's game plan was to stop Villa. And now there's that many teams showing us respect that we weren't getting 6 months ago. And they'll come out more, and I think it suits us more. I think it creates more room for Ramsey and Buendia when we get through the lines then. And like you seen against Chelsea, on another day, we could have had 4 or 5 that day. And when teams come on to us, I think it suits us. I mean, everywhere Emery's been, it's been sort of that style of football, hasn't it? But yeah, let's just win Saturday, beat Brentford, and then let's get some flights booked.
Cool, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Say hello. Got the Villa.
See you later, mate. The Villa. James, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, not doing too bad yourself, mate.
Yeah, good stuff. So what are you making of Villa at the minute, and what are your thoughts going into the weekend?
Do you know what? It's odd. It's super odd because, you know, obviously you guys, you know, you're older than me, so you have had a fair few more Villa games watching than I have. But to be honest, I'm 19, and out of 19 years of my life watching Villa, to be honest, I've never seen them like this. You know, like you just said, you know, nine points in a week. I'm, you know, as Sam said, I'm still checking the table, seeing if it's real or not, because I don't think I've seen Villa 6th in the table above, like at least in a while anyway, other than when we start the season. But no, I think the best word to describe at the moment is hopeful, you know, and because we've spent so many years and it's been like we have that little bit of hope, but then there's that doubt that comes along with it. It's like, oh, can we do it though? Is it possible? Now it's like we know it's possible, but can we execute? And obviously, as Emery and as the whole squad have shown right now, is we've now got the ability to execute. And these teams that we're coming across, whether they're below us, around us, or at the top of the league, we're going to give them a fight. And I mean, I think I can't remember. It was in one of the comments of one of your videos. I said when Gerrard was in there, and I said we need to become villains again. People need to respect us. People need to go, okay, we're going against Villa now. And I think that's exactly what we've got now. And do you know what? It's beautiful to see, to be honest, mate, because it's like, you finally got that. We can finally be proud of who we are now and who we are as fans.
Yeah, and I think Emery, he's obviously come in and, he's the manager of the team. So his focus is to improve what happens on the pitch. But there is more to it, when he speaks after every interview, he's thanking the fans and he wants to perform at home and he obviously wants the atmosphere to be good. Like, his job's to kind of bring Villa back as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think because we've been, I think one of the guys that have just been on have spoke about, like, so many years that the shot can just come off someone's shin that was going wide and it ends up in the top corner. Like, we're so used to like stuff like that happening to us and that self-doubt. And I think as a collective, as a fan base, we kind of need to get back to where we were on a level where, we're Aston Villa. We are a big club, Whenever we sign a player, they come in and they say, Villa are a big club, like they're huge. But we know we were nowhere near being at that level. But now it kind of feels like, because we're sniffing around Europe, we're kind of getting back to where the fans' mindset used to be, which is really important as well. So it is a big game on Saturday. So how do you initially see that game going? Do you think we can still be dominant with the ball, or do you think it's going to be a different type of game?
Well, I think if we're not dominant with the ball, because Newcastle can provide a low block very effectively, and they can play out as far as they want to. Also effectively, they've got talent all across the bloody pitch. So at this point, I don't know what Emery's going to do to organise the team. All I know is we've got to be on point, because as soon as we have like any little mistakes or even a lack of concentration from any player on the pitch, they can utilise that. So I think for us, the best bet would be to try and gain possession of the ball, pass it quickly. No slow passing. We can't be giving them too much time. In times where we need to slow it down, then beautiful, do that. But when it comes to, we need fast pace, but our pace, not their pace. Because if we play their game, it's not going to be a great night. But if Newcastle fans are saying we can take a point, then they clearly ain't that confident with their team. And at the moment, look at us, we're jolly. So I think we need to take it to them, but our game, not theirs. And I think that's the only thing we can do, really.
Yeah, cool, mate. Thank you.
Always up the Villa.
Ellis, what are you saying, mate?
It's buzzing, isn't it? Right. It's great.
I'll tell you what, I think I might need to start trademarking that word, because I'm seeing it flying around everywhere.
It's unreal. It's as good as I've seen Villa Park.
How old are you, Ellis?
I am 17.
Yeah, so you've not really seen anything.
I got into Villa.
Have you really?
I got into Villa the season we got relegated.
Oh, great!
So this is unreal.
So this is the best it gets.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the only way I can describe it is being on the level of the promotion season, and that is like, there's obviously not been a lot of joy whilst I've been watching the Villa, but that was unreal for me, and I loved that. And the main reason I loved it is the connection with the players and the fans and the manager. And I spoke to an Arsenal fan when Emery first got appointed, and I asked him a question about his relationship with the fans, because obviously Gerrard absolutely ripped it apart, and they said that he's always the first down the tunnel, and he had no real connection with the fans. And I was a bit worried about that, and I was a bit apprehensive. But we love him. Yeah, he doesn't always come to the fans, but I don't mind that, because it's the same whether we win, lose, or whatever. Whereas Gerrard,
what I think what I like about that is the fact that what my problem was, what Gerrard did was he would come to the fans when we win.
Yeah.
When we lose, he'd go straight down the tunnel.
Exactly, yeah.
So it just feels a little bit weird to me. I don't want to bait the Newcastle fans, but you see them putting the pictures on when they win.
Yeah.
I don't really ever see that picture when they lose. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
So
yeah.
it just feels a bit. I feel like I'm happy with what he does because he does his job and he goes.
And he lets the players take it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. And it's got the things back. We've got Mings, Young, Burton, Traore coming down every time. And it feels like we've really connected with the players again. And it was something that Gerrard absolutely eradicated. Like the club and the fans felt so far apart under Gerrard. And Emery's brought that back. And now look at where the club's going. And it's really exciting time to be a Villa fan. I'd say that in the best way possible because I cannot wait to see what this team can become. And this is still Dean Smith players, some Gerrard players like Kamara, but this is still Dean Smith players. Imagine what we can do when we get some Emery players in. Because yes, this team is good and it could take us to Europe, but we go that extra step further, get rid of players that aren't really doing much, like your Baileys. And honestly, I know he's scored 2 goals, but Traore, he doesn't really do much unless he can take it first time.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're right. You are. I mean, we said it in the one of the episodes after the Forest game that Traore needs. I just need to see a little bit more from him because this game that we've got coming up is going to be it's going to be physical. It's going to be really, and I think everybody's got to collectively really step up. We can't have like 10 players that are just one.
I think does, yeah.
Doing literally nothing, so they've all got to be like working. But who's really like? Okay, here's a question: who's your player of the season so far?
It's really difficult because under Gerrard, it was none of them that were all rubbish. But now Emery's come in, and every single one of them's great. I think Watkins has to have a play. His renaissance, pretty much under Emery, it's been unreal. But then you get the players who don't get as much attention. Mings has been phenomenal since Emery's come in and whilst Gerrard was in. And I think the amount of slack he gets, not so much now because there's nothing for him to slag off, but he's been unreal. He's solid. Konza, solid. Young, when he's come in, he's been absolutely brilliant. But I think the defenders have to take a massive portion of the blame. And if not the defenders, then Ollie Watkins, because you can't argue with what he's been given to us.
Yeah, it's class. So, are we going to get Europe? Yes or no?
Heart says yes.
Yeah.
Head says yes as well. Why not? We're going to get Europe.
I love it. It was mad that I put a tweet out yesterday. I was watching the Arsenal-Liverpool game and you sat there and you want it to be a good game. So you want both teams to score. And then I was just like, no, we need Arsenal to do it here. And it's like, who'd have thought you'd be tweeting you want Arsenal to do you a favour against Liverpool? Like, it's just mad, to be fair. But, I'm just enjoying that. We get into like the 30th game of the season, 31 games on Saturday, and there's still something to play for.
Exactly,
there's still something for us to achieve. And I think, from where we were when Emery came to where we are now, it's absolutely massive. So, like you say, I'm buzzing. So, cheers for coming on, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
So, we'll go one more. We got James on. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. You must be happy with Villa at the minute.
Loving it. Loving life. Watching the Villa and really stepping up. Let's see how high we can get. So.
Yeah. How high do you think we can get?
Well, with us to play teams above us, why don't we aim as high as we can go? So, and anywhere now is a bonus, really, because we all, after the World Cup, was going to be happy with mid-table, and I think we're going to be better than that. So let's just enjoy the ride and get behind the lads.
Yeah, definitely. And Saturday is going to be a difficult game. So what's your vibe with it?
I'll fancy us against anyone at the minute. So being at home against, say, even Newcastle, we've got to fancy our chances and give him a game. So he might tweak the starting 11 a little bit, but because I don't know whether Bailey will be fit enough to start, and so I might give him a chance to do something a bit different. Don't know whether Kamara's back, so we might throw somebody in that hasn't started yet. So.
Yeah, and this is, you know, it is a difficult game, like we've said, but we don't know whether we might throw an absolute spanner and literally change something, because this feels like, you know, a really, really big game, and we know what Emery's like in the big games. He comes out on top most of the time in his career as well. So, do you feel like there might be any changes in midfield?
Well, it was just at the end of the game, he put who did he put on at the end? The lad in midfield. Yeah. I've got a funny feeling he might start him if Kamara isn't fit. So just shore up the midfield, and then you got a chance pushing John McGinn forward. So they were back to where he was playing some really good football, and leave to arrive for the super sub role. So
yeah, definitely. Right, cool, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Cheers, Lee. Up the Villa.
Cool. So we had a bit of a stacked football phone in. If you want to get involved and you want to come on and have your say, just drop me a message on social media. Pretty much every Villa fan's buzzing at the minute. So make sure you drop this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and up the Villa.